I'm the nostalgia critic guy. Remember it so you don't have to. The Powerpuff Girls. While I can't say I grew up with the show, I think I was entering college at the time, I can say I'm quite familiar with it because, well, it was everywhere. My first introduction to it was a Space Ghost cartoon showing pilots for their then new channel, Cartoon Network. While it looked a little different than it does now, it was still unlike anything I've ever seen. It was like a mix between Ren and Stimpy and anime. It was uniquely bizarre and adequately funny. Their popularity grew so much that Warner Brothers eventually gave them their own Powerpuff Girl movie, the Powerpuff Girl movie. Being the first theatrical release from Cartoon Network, this superhero beat-em-up got an astounding okay response from critics and received an amazingly adequate box office. And the response from viewers was a phenomenal... Cool. Yeah, nobody really talks about this movie too much, and on some level I can see why. It kind of just shows up, does its job, and then leaves your consciousness. Kind of like Fish. Come at me! But is there more to analyze about this movie? Is there something to recognize beyond just distracting you for an hour and a half? Let's hope not, or else the Medea movies will have nothing to survive on. So slap on your white socks and act like having no fingers or toes is part of being a kindergartner. I'm glad somebody else had that childhood. This is the Powerpuff Girls movie. Back when Warner Brothers thought pan and scan would be the future. I miss you, eyesores. In the city of Townsville, crime is on the rise, as well as narrators talking about how crime is on the rise.
For there is a man who looks back to a sweeter time. Everything was nice.
When women's eyes weren't black and white cookies, the world has changed! This man, the narrator simply calls the professor, tell me there's a fan theory connecting these two, goes home to conduct an experiment while his lab monkey starts wreaking havoc. Hey, it's how some fans react to the new Powerpuff Girls cartoon. With a weird name like that, he won't go anywhere. The monkey spills Chemical X into the mix and, well, you've seen the opening. Don't look at them too long. I think the Ring video is in their eyes. Yeah, like many viewers say, their look can be a little Night Terror-esque, but their cute personalities do shine through the more he interacts with them.
I can't believe it. I wanted to make some kids that I could teach good and bad, right and wrong, and in turn maybe they do some good for this terrible town, and now I can.
It's nice knowing the motivation after he did the motivational thing. He quickly finds out that they have superpowers. Thank God for this slow pan over to Chemical X, or else we never would have found out what did it. Except for the other times you focused on it, and the fact that's repeated over and over in the show's opening credits. I think kids can connect the dots. But the stupid monkey was affected too and abandons them for the time being. The girls help the professor do everyday things like paint their room, bring in toys, and even put in some windows.
I could see some windows. I'll call a contractor tomorrow.
Bet you didn't know Satan sold them that everything nice.
You will bow to Beelzebub and his minions of death, and also feed us Cookie Crisp before bedtime. The dog is cute.
It looks like their laser eyes make the windows, and all this oddness tires them out. So they're put to bed while the professor comes across a picture they drew. Okay, the PG promised me non-stop frenetic animated action, which sounds more like a critic quote than a warning, but you come through on what my parental guidance is required. The next day, he takes them to school, and they're introduced to their teacher, Miss Keene.
Hey, you wanna play?
Ah! Why does every kid's eyes look like Buffalo Bill should be staring down them?
Do you think they'll be okay? Because they're really special. I mean, really special.
Don't worry, we take all kinds of kids. That one in the corner, for example, hasn't blinked in days. It still haunts my soul. The kids seem to fit in fine until they play a game of tag.
Tag, you're it! Oh no! I've been affected! All right, what's going on here?
Boy, Popeye's testicles dropped at an early age. The kids show the girls how to play, and they take it, well, a little too seriously.
Tag, you're it!
Bubbles recovers, and the girls use their superpowers to play the game, destroying chunks of the neighborhood. Well, the video game's designed. What other merchandise do we have to make? So, okay, while this is a cute idea, it goes on a little long. Like, a little long. The whole tag sequence from beginning to end is 9 minutes. 9 minutes! It's like imagining one of those pointless fight scenes in The Matrix Reloaded, except to make it even more pointless, they're just playing tag.
You're it. What if I told you? You're it.
Cheater! Granted, the action is kind of creative, but there's no conflict outside of people just want them to stop playing tag. As a superhero movie, even for kids, that's not especially exciting. This makes me laugh, though.
You know, I've got a nice car.
I'll just assume by that lack of screaming, both people are dead. The funny thing is, Man of Steel fans somehow interpret this as saving the city. The mayor of Townsville sees the destruction and in an almost minute-and-a-half build-up to a joke, they like to play the long game in this. He gets a pickle instead of responding to the violence. Back when a politician doing that almost sounded silly. Ah, that classic mayor slowly putting pickle closer to his mouth while 3 girls destroying the city quickly rush towards you. I don't care how long you take to film it, the routine is timeless. The girls eventually crash into him, and the professor runs into the girls, finally taking them home.
3 little girls had a very busy day today. Well, I'm glad you had so much fun, because tomorrow will be a busy day too.
We're going to explain to truthers why what you did wasn't planned by the government.
It's your superpowers. I don't think you should use them in public anymore. Just give Townsville a little time to understand your specialness.
We're gonna try and beat Frozen to this, but the earworm we have is a literal earworm.
People often get scared or angry when they don't understand something special or unique.
That's silly.
Well, I think so too.
Oh, and you blew shit up! Kind of a legit reason to get mad. The news spreads through town, and the next day, the kids are not greeted with much warmth.
There won't be any recess for a while due to all the reconstruction.
Dang it, you done broke the board plan, dangling consarner.
Well, that PG rating did not include Yosemite Sam language. The professor is brought in for questioning, leaving the girls alone after school.
He probably just got held up, or maybe the car broke, or maybe he just forgot, or maybe he hates us.
And here I thought Ed Helms was the worst thing to happen to Tag. As more news spreads about them, shocking even mini Ron Jeremy, the girls feel like outcasts. Don't worry, the invention of social media will balance everything out. There is something I like about them not using their powers to go home, realizing what it's like to be a normal person living through their destruction. Things get even more intense when they're stopped by a local gang. You know, just because they got a new member doesn't mean the gorillas need to do crossovers. But they're saved by, you know. And they follow him to a box he lives in.
I dare not listen, for I have been lashed by harsh tongues for too long.
That's disgusting.
Because you are a freak!
He says his name is Jojo, and like them, he's an outcast. Heads up, this is my favorite shot in the movie.
And if you just give people time, they'll start to understand your specialness. Yeah, you just gotta believe in yourself.
Ooh, not since Helena Bottom Carter as a monkey looks so creepy. So funny enough, the movie goes from a snail's pace to suddenly pretty damn fast when Jojo reveals his ideas and how the girls can help.
Jump in, take this device I've built into the volcano. Using my ideas and your powers, we will build to help the town and make it a better place machine.
Jesus, the Micro Machine guy took over as editor! They agreed to help Jojo with his plan to repair the town, even though they don't understand what the machine they're making does. As a reward, he takes them to the zoo, but he seems to have other plans than just sightseeing. It's funny because butts. I've always wanted to go to commercial on that line. So after putting darts in all the monkeys at the zoo, Bubbles notices a baby dropped his toy.
I thought the zoo kept all the animals in cages.
Damn, bitch! I don't have any other joke, just damn, bitch!
deafen yourselves to their heartless words.
And now it's time to play Dude That's Totally Got Another Meaning.
They are unaware that your actions will have helped change their world forever.
Dude That's Totally Got Another Meaning.
You think they'll be surprised?
Oh, yeah.
Dude That's Totally Got Another Meaning.
You think they'll still be mad at us for playing tag?
No.
Dude That's Totally Got Another Meaning.
Will they love us?
Yes.
Okay, well that's more just not telling the truth, but I am gonna play that with this clip.
Would I lie to you?
The cops drop the professor back home as Jojo starts his evil plan, transporting all the monkeys from the zoo to his lair. Green. Nothing good in a lair is ever green. Thank you again for that movie. Do you want to talk about something? Their brains all seem to grow as the next morning both the kids and Jojo prepare for their big day. The girls think they're gonna help the town, but they accidentally cause the apocalypse. Oops. Jojo then gives the best introduction to a new name since the artist formerly known as Prince.
The hobo formerly known as Jojo is no more. From this day forward, I shall be known as Mojo Jojo!
That's so funny, I totally glance over that there's two weird focuses on butts in that shot. Again, movie, you want to talk about something?
Please believe us.
I don't know who to believe. I thought you were good.
Eat two? Professor? But Mojo Jojo finds out his minions want to be in charge instead of him.
But we the Gobo Patrol as brothers in arms are linked to form a chain of command that will reach out and take hold of your world.
I, cha-ching, cha-ching, symbolize chaotic calamity.
My name is Ha-cha-cha-cha, and here is my spiel.
I don't remember getting high, but I'm clearly high. Well, I think it was brave to have the makers of Dexter's Lab do the pink elephant scene in Tim Burton's Dumbo. It's probably gonna be better than what we really get. Meanwhile, on Planet Artsy Cutaway, your Powerpuff Girls, not Tree of Life. The girls seem to sit on I'll just say it, I have no idea what. Maybe it's the debris of the town flowing into space. Maybe it's where Marvin the Martian lives. Maybe it's all the sets to the Superman sequels they're never gonna make. But whatever it is, they try to figure out what to do. What is this, a Swedish expressionist film? Just punch it! But they hear the professor cry in pain, despite he's kind of the reason they were up there to begin with, and they rush back to save him. On the way, they find they can save other people too.
Hey, what about the dog?
That's my cat's favorite scene. You should see the look on his face. That's the face he makes. But Buttercup punches one of them and they get an idea.
Come on, girls! Let's put an end to this guerrilla warfare!
Violence! That's what'll save the day! We're gonna have to do so many PSAs to balance this out. Wait, that's not a thing when this was made? Oh, good. Just blow shit up to blow shit up. I'll just say it, it's really weird but really awesome to see this much animated violence in a kid's film again. I don't think I've seen this much hand-drawn explosion punching for children since G.I. Joe the movie. They go to save the professor from Mojo Jojo, but he turns himself into a giant because, giants are cool.
Mojo Jojo shall be king!
Well, somebody's found a new beer label. The girls, of course, try to stop him, leading to even more fun action.
Trying to destroy me? Or them? The ones who hated you? The ones who are clearly artists and writers trying to get their faces in the picture?
I haven't looked that up or anything, but look at them. That's clearly drawn by people who have a sense of humor about how they look.
Join me.
Well, that's a shock. I really thought they were gonna join him. Do you think these are Mission Impossible twists? They defeat him just as the professor comes up with an antidote to shrink him down. The girls even have a chance to take away their powers, but the town wants them to keep them.
That was super
Amazing!
Fantastic!
Thank you.
Oh my God, you can talk!
So the town loves them now and lets them fight evil wherever it lurks.
The Powerpuff Girls! Hey, that's a good name for them. I like that. Wonder if they will. I'll run it by them.
I mean, I was gonna go with creepy sperm dolls, but I guess that works too. The Powerpuff Girls movie has a strange problem of taking itself too seriously. Which is fine if you want to try something new, but it needed a more complex story with twists and emotions. When the action and the comedy does get going though, it is kind of fun. It's not as fast or creative as the show, but the upped production value does make it nicer to look at. Especially for a time period when this kind of style just wasn't seen in movies. Nowadays, this kind of simplistic style with fast action is all over the place. But back then, this was pretty rare, so I guess you could argue on a technical level it was a little ahead of its time. As a movie though, that's alright. I would have liked if it was a bit more clever in its writing, but it still felt big enough to be more than just an extended episode. Fly on in and check it out for yourself. I mean, it's gotta be better than next week's movie. What are your thoughts on that, Chaplin? I think that face says it all.